Hey guys, it's me, Sonia from Sonia W. And listen, we are in here with the next step of the stairwell to intentional living. How we're going to how we're going to create plans that God can establish this month, okay? And that second step is living by principle. But let me get into it, all right? But first, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Hey guys, my name is Sonia with Sonia W Coaching, where we help overwhelmed, multi-passionate women learn how to acknowledge, live, execute, and win their dreams. We're all about making sure that your dreams, that they meet reality here at Sonia W. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. I'm so excited. I get so excited talking about this. So last video, we talked about the stairwell to intentional living's first step, acknowledgement, acknowledging your dreams. Well, this week, we are talking about the second step, living by principle. We talked about how we got to first acknowledge that God has plans for us. God has great works for us. And we got to acknowledge the dreams that are within our hearts because God actually put eternity in our hearts. He put that longing to see something grand in our lives in us, right? So, of course, we got to dream. We got to think about it. Well, the second step to this is to actually learn how to live where and what we are and figuring out how to close the gap between where we are and where we want to go. I love Luke 14:28 through 30, which says, "For which of you, desiring to build a tower, does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, 'This man began to build and was not able to finish.'" I'm sorry. I tickle myself sometimes. But anyway, we have to know what we need and want to build, right? We gotta know what we got. We gotta know what we want so that we can actually build something that can last. And the second step to the intentional living stairwell is to live by our principles, live by the values that we laid out, and establish where we are so that we can close the gap, okay? And I'm gonna break down 3 things to do to actually make that happen. So, in the last video, we talked about how the first step really truly is to acknowledge. That's kind of like the foundation of it all, right? Acknowledging that you do have dreams, acknowledging that God wants to partner with us, acknowledging that the dreams that he put in our hearts, the dreams that are in our hearts, are dreams that are worth dreaming, and that they are the ideal state for every major area of our lives. We talked about those 6 main areas, those relationships that you have to have, and the good relationships that you have to have with those things, with your spiritual life, with your health, your mind, your family, your friends, your finances, right? Well, now, to actually start this process of truly intentionally living, we got to figure out where we are. Think about a plane, right? Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, how do we get this step together? How in the world do we actually begin to live by principle? Number 1 is to actually review our dreams. You should have established those dreams. I talked about that a little bit earlier. You should have established those dreams in the last video that I did, and I show you how to do that. But then the next thing to do is to know where you are right now today. Okay? Where are you? Thinking about a plane, right, or a trip. The pilot knows where he is. We're at, I don't know what airport. I'm near BWI. So we're at BWI. And we know that the destination is Barbados, my home country, my family's country. Anyway, the route might be different, but the location is clear and the destination is clear. This second step is locating your location, is putting a pin at your location and making sure that you know where the next step is to go, okay? So, It's so important to understanding yourself and understanding the one that made us, right? Like it's so key to understanding that. Where are you in your health? Where are you in your relationship with God, your finances? What does that look like? No judgment here. Don't start putting judgments on yourself. Just say, where am I? My finances. I don't know, I'm in such and such amount of debt. I have, don't put any judgments there. Just make it real clear. This is where I am today. Okay? Then the second thing is to actually ask the hard questions. Where am I? And really figuring out, okay, I've acknowledged my dream space. I acknowledge that God desires for me to do this, right? And now you're asking that question, where are you? I talked about it already. I get ahead of myself with these things, but that was the second thing. Ask the hard questions. And although it seems like a simple question, it can be hard. And I don't want you to judge yourself in this because look, this is the first time you're doing this. Or maybe it's the second time. Listen, y'all, I do this at least every quarter and I be like, dang, Sonia, sometimes I make really big progress and sometimes I don't do too much. But I'm laying it out because I know how important it is to keep track of that. So ask yourself the really key question, where are you? And then begin to close the gap. This time around, you're going to start to figure out, okay, I know I dropped a pin in my location. I know exactly where I am and I know exactly where I want to go. Well, what can I do to close that gap? Start listing things. I don't know, start running daily or save $50 every week, right? What small thing that you think you can do that will help to close the gap? This is not goal setting yet. This is not, putting together a 5-point plan. No, this is just a chance to start brainstorming and dreaming about how you can close the gap between your location and your destination. Okay? So take some time to really think through those things. The 3 things to do. Of course, acknowledge your dreams, review your dreams, look at the things that you wrote down before and decide about, well, is this really still it? Is this the thing that I desire? You're going to be doing this as you have a life plan regularly. I've been throwing hints in there, quarterly, yearly, things like that. But you're going to be reviewing this, right? And then the second thing is to ask the hard questions. Ask yourself, where am I? And then finally, start daydreaming, start reflecting on things that you can do to actually close that gap. It's going to be essential to truly building out your life plan, your dream activation plan, and really living intentionally because you're going into it sober-minded. You're figuring out, okay, I say this is what I want, and this is where I am. We got some work to do. So we've broken down these 2 steps already. Acknowledging your dreams, living by principle, figuring out how in the world am I living and how can I begin the process of closing the gap between my dream and how I'm living, right? Well, the next video is where the rubber meets the road. That's a saying, right? Yeah, it is. It is step 3 of this stairwell to living intentionally. And that is executing by process. And I'm excited. We about to get to work in this next one, all right? So be here again next week, same time, same place, all right? Now, if this truly was something that got you, go ahead and subscribe. Tell somebody about this. Yes, share it. And definitely leave a comment below. I would love to see how this is working out for you. Where are you right now? Are you where you want to be? All right, y'all. See you next week.